Okay, the next thing we're going to do is go between the edit window and the mix window. This is the edit window. This is the window where you're doing most of your editing of all your audio and your MIDI. And then the mix window is on the other page over here, this one here. At the moment, there's only one channel because I've only got one piece of audio in there, but this could fill up all the way along here with as many audio tracks and MIDI tracks and auxiliary tracks as you have when you do your session. So to go between the two windows like this, what the command is command equals, and that swaps between the two. So that's a very good toggle, and you'll use that a lot to toggle between the edit and the mix window, particularly if you haven't got two screens. The next thing I would like to go over is the edit tools, which are up here. These are your different tools that you would use when you're going to edit, particularly when you're doing your vocal edits and your drum edits for your assignments. So at the moment it is over here on the zoomer tool, and you can see here that means that if I now go over here onto the sound wave and I click my mouse, it's zooming out. If I want to go backwards, I just hit Option, and you can see that it goes to the little negative sign. If I click again, it goes in. So that's that option of the zoomer tool. This next tool here is the trimmer tool, and to get to that you have to go command 2, sorry, command 2. So command 1 is the zoomer toggle, and then the next tool is the trimmer tool. If we go command 2, so command 2 means that you can now trim your audio at the ends, both the beginning and the end. If I click and drag that in, it'll trim that up there. Same at the other end, click and drag. But this is non-destructive, so once you do that, if you don't like it, you can just drag it back out and it's all good. So that's that thing. And you can also do it by holding your trimmer tool where you want it to go to and press click, and it will do it that way as well. So if you know exactly where you want to go, you don't have to slide it in. So that's the trimmer tool. To get to the next one is the selector tool. So to get to that is command 3 is the shortcut. So command 3 now is the selector tool. And pretty much the selector tool is just selecting anywhere on my audio for the start of the timeline. So you can see here, if I go there, you can see that it's playing from there, it's playing from there. Doesn't matter where. And I can also use this to select where I want to make a cut, which we'll talk about the cuts in a minute. But that's what the selector tool does. The next tool is the grabber tool. So that's command 4. And if we go command 4, you'll see it's now. Now make sure this has a little arrow drop down. Let's make sure that it's on the time tool to start with. That's the main one that you'll be using. Make sure it's on that tool. And that just means that it will grab whole regions, and then you can drag and drop them, move them wherever you need to. So that, you know, if you need to move them around a little, you can do that. But you can't select anything with that. See, so if I wanted to say start from here, at the moment you can see it's starting from there. If I want it to start from here, I have to go back to the selector tool, which would be command 3. Now it's the selector tool. Might go from there, press play. I'm pressing play with the space bar if you're not sure. And that's, so anyway, and then back to the grabber tool, so that's command 4. And now this next one is the scrubber tool, which is command 5. And that just means it's like an old tape machine when you used to sort of speed it up or something. Just so you're scrubbing along with a bit of tape. So that's what that one's for, in case you want to just sort of listen to a certain thing in close and hear what you can hear. You see if there's anything you need to hear a bit more slowly. Then the next one, command 6, is the pencil tool. We'll come back to this one, but this is for drawing in different automation shapes. We'll come back to that. And then there's one more, which is the smart tool, which is command 7. Now command 7, you can see now, has highlighted all of 3 of the main edit tools. And what that does is now it's actually all the different tools that we've just been talking about, but depending on where you have the have the pointer is what it's going to be. So if it's in the middle of the audio file, you can see it's the selector tool. So I can select anywhere on the clip. If I go down the bottom, it's the grabber tool, which means I can grab the audio and move it around anywhere. If I go to the very ends, it's the trimmer tool. So I can trim that end or trim that end or trim it back out. Remember how we had it trimmed before? See how it's non-destructive? If I want to put a fade in, if I go to this end, you can see that little square up in the top right hand corner. When I do that, if I move this out across here, it creates a fade. If I want to come this side and do the same thing, creates a fade on that side as well. So that's the Smart tool. That's another very useful tool to get workflow a little bit quicker. So that's for the edit tools, which you'll use for editing. Now, while you're also editing,